Listen to me carefully. Not everything God tells you is meant to be told. Some of the most dangerous mistakes believers make are not sins of action, but sins of speech. You prayed, God answered. And the moment He spoke, you told the wrong person. And suddenly confusion entered, delay entered, opposition entered. Here's the shocking truth. God forbids you from speaking certain things, not because they're wrong, but because they're sacred. And if you violate this principle, you don't just lose peace, you invite warfare. And listen carefully, number 3 is the one most people never talk about. Not because it's unimportant, but because it exposes why so many promises stall. If you've ever wondered why something God promised hasn't manifested yet, why doors closed after you spoke too freely, why people turned against you the moment you shared your vision, this message matters more than you think. And what you'll hear next may explain delays you've been blaming on God, when the real issue was timing, not faith. 1. God forbids you from telling everyone your vision. Here's the truth nobody warns you about. Not everyone can handle your future. Joseph learned this the hard way. Genesis 37:5 says, Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him yet the more. Notice this. The dream came from God, but the hatred came from people who weren't ready to hear it. God gave the vision, Joseph gave the explanation, and that explanation triggered jealousy, betrayal, and delay. Here's the principle. A vision spoken too early becomes a target. Proverbs 29:11 says, A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. Not everyone needs access to what God showed you in secret. Some people don't pray over visions. They compete with them. Think about this. Why would God show you something in private just for you to broadcast it to everyone? Jesus himself said in Matthew 7:6, Do not give dogs what is holy, not because people are evil, but because sacred things require sacred handling. 2. God forbids you from telling people your weaknesses. Mid-battle, this one is dangerous. The Bible says in Judges 16 that Samson told Delilah the source of his strength, and the moment he spoke it, he lost it. Judges 16:17 says, He told her all his heart, and verse 19 says, She called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. Listen, you don't confess wounds to people who benefit from your fall. There's a difference between accountability and exposure. Proverbs 4:23 says, Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Some people don't help heal you. They study you. They don't intercede. They investigate. Here's the truth. Vulnerability without discernment becomes sabotage. Yes, confess sins to God. Yes, seek counsel from trusted, Spirit-led believers. But God never instructed you to announce your struggles to everyone with ears. Even Jesus was selective. Matthew 26:37 says, He took Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee with him, not the crowd, not everyone, because not everyone has the spiritual maturity to handle sacred pain. 3. God forbids you from telling people what He said about them. This one will shock you. God may show you someone's flaw, future, or failure, but that doesn't give you permission to announce it. Exodus 4 tells us God revealed Pharaoh's heart to Moses, but Moses didn't go gossiping about Pharaoh. He obeyed. Proverbs 11:13 says, A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Some revelations are assignments, not announcements. Think about this. If God tells you someone is in danger, that doesn't make you a messenger of shame. It makes you an intercessor. Ezekiel 3:17 says, I have made you a watchman. Watchmen warn God, not expose people. Here's the principle. Revelation without love becomes condemnation. If God trusted you with insight, He trusted you with responsibility. 4. God forbids you from telling people your next move. This is strategic. Jesus often healed people and then said, Tell no one. Mark 1:44 says, See thou say nothing to any man. Why? Because premature exposure disrupts divine timing. Ecclesiastes 3:7 says, A time to keep silence and a time to speak. Some doors open best in silence. Nehemiah rebuilt the wall without announcing the full plan. Nehemiah 2:12 says, I had not told any man what my God had put in my heart. Why? Because opposition always shows up when purpose becomes public too soon. Here's the truth. Silence is not fear, it's strategy. When God is moving you, move quietly. Let results speak louder than announcements. 5. God forbids you from telling people what you're praying for. This one separates the mature from the emotional. Matthew 6:6 says, When thou prayest, enter into thy closet. Prayer loses power when it becomes performance. Some prayers are still forming, some requests are still under construction, and the moment you speak them prematurely, You invite opinions into sacred space. Hannah didn't announce her prayer, she poured it out. 1 Samuel 1:13 says, Hannah spake in her heart, only her lips moved, and God answered. Here's the truth. Some prayers need privacy to grow. When people know what you're praying for, they may doubt it, mock it, or discourage it. And faith doesn't thrive in hostile environments. Here's the revelation that ties everything together. God speaks in levels, and access is earned through faithfulness. Luke 16:10 says, He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. If you can guard what God whispers, He will trust you with what He shouts. But if you leak everything He says, He will limit what He reveals. This isn't about secrecy, it's about stewardship. Here's your challenge. 1. Ask God, who has access to my voice? 2. Stop explaining what God hasn't finished. 3. Pray more than you announce. 4. Protect visions until they mature. 5. Let God defend what He birthed. James 1:19 says, Be swift to hear, slow to speak. Let me ask you this. Have you ever spoken too soon and paid for it? If this message convicted you, comment, I will guard it. Like this video. Subscribe for more spirit-led teaching.